I'll just try and close some tabs down as well, I guess, in Chrome, which is probably not helping. Okay, I guess I can close some these tabs down as well. Just try and keep things more simple. I shouldn't have to do this though. Okay, so I was just looking at how you can use curves as well, which is nice. So you can hear that you can see that if we look at the scores different, we got 65, 88, 1. Let's just change it back to linear. Yeah, instead of 88, 60 something, I think it's 64, 88, 1. You can see now it's like a flat difference between them. Well, not equal because one is just past it, but don't take it too literally there. Oh, literal there, sorry, but oh my gosh. Your video card has the required memory. I have like a 1060 6GB. This will probably crash OBS too, so be right back. Oh, no, OBS is still alive. This is super fun. I don't have the money to update a rig really at the moment. Yeah, I have them quite intermittently as well. It's pretty frustrating. I don't know how much of this we've still got now. Yeah, the query that this is using. Okay, yeah, there we go. I think we're back in the same position it was in before. Right. Okay, so we wanted to look at this. We are adding more tests to this. So I was popping this one out so that we can see what we're doing in here and see the impact of it as we're doing it. So we want to add another test, say. So we want to add a test. We will do, I guess we get a lot of it is just going to be based on this player, right? So let's try a trace one. So we here are doing a trace on visibility, right? So this is going to be, oh god, no. So this is visibility to the player. So which areas are not visible? So you can see these are green, meaning you can see them. And these aren't. What if I just filter them only? That make it any clearer? Oh, we can turn off this one. There you go. That helps us see, right? These are the ones you can trace to these and you can't trace to those, I think. So it's trying to get each one of these points and trace them to the context. So if we do the context as, hold on. Trace data. I mean, it might help us to reduce how many points we've got in this grid as well. How many points, space between? Let's just take this up a little bit, shall we? Yeah, I guess like I have my graphics card and then I have a CPU which uses a graphics card as well. Perhaps one of them is using my OBS, perhaps, or something is using my my CPU one instead, perhaps. I don't know. Okay, so trace here. Let's see how this works. Visibility or camera. Line. Oh, can you trace? Oh, no. That's going to be complex collisions, that is. that can sometimes break things as well, going in Task Manager, but what we can see here, Streamlabs OBS using a chunk. If you want to see anything else more specific, then let me know. Spotify, I mean, it's not using much though, is it? On board count, then you have to say which one to use in the graphic setting. The graphic setting in, okay, that could be an interesting one. I know all the details that are going to show up in here. Yeah, I don't think any of these, other than this, we can arrange it by memory. It's going to show us match, unfortunately. Oh, you're right. I think I see what you mean. So you mean in the little, like NVIDIA Eye settings? Hold on. Don't you manage, there's a thing in here where you choose like per software what it should use. I can't remember where it is though. Manage 3D settings? Program, yeah, it was. This could break some stuff as well, doing it midstream. So what am I going to get in this list? We want to find Epic Games, Launcher, no, Unreal Engine we're looking for. Unity's in there. Maybe, what do you think it comes under here? Do I have to add it myself, do you think? Oh no, there's... Can you guys see Unreal? It's Epic Games Launcher, but I don't know whether... Yeah, maybe, hang on, I think for global settings, didn't I make it so it always uses it though? Where's the bit where you choose like on board? You think it is Epic Games Launcher, is it? Okay, where's the bit where you say I want to use it? Auto select. OpenGL rendering? Realistically, I should be using my GPU for all of these. But I don't know. Let's just try it for Unreal, shall we? This might break stuff, but might not as well. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, the control panel's not responding at the moment either. Okay, so we've got Unreal Editor we can add as well. So Unreal Engine demo, what is it called that? Okay, but we'll deal with that anyway. We'd like you to use that as well. That's all we can really hope for, I guess, right? Who knows? Thank you for trying to help me troubleshoot it anyway. Okay, so we are trying to do a trace at the moment, right? So let's save before things crash again. But we want to change the context to the Dan's pawn. So these are all points that don't have a line of sight to this pawn here, right? So if I move this closer to like this, maybe this point here. Yeah, we can see that it can see all of those points, but nothing behind here. Okay, what about if we had... I guess this is a point where you might have like lower points and higher points, right? So let's try and think how we can test this. Okay, I've got an idea over here. So if we put the... No. We put this over by here. Click on here at the moment. This should not be... Oh, it can trace to there? I'm trying to put it really close here. Let's just do that. You can still see those points. String trouble. It happens whenever I'm using Unreal as well, dude. Knowledge, to be honest with you. It's not whenever, but quite regularly. I'd say 40% of the time. I get some crash. It's like Discord OBS and... or Streamlabs OBS, sorry, I should say, and Unreal just don't like sharing resources. Yeah, but it's crashed like 4 times today, which is annoying. Hello there, Flippo. Nice to see you. Flippo, we'll be playing Banner Saga next month, based on your recommendation. I know it's taken a while to get around to it, but... Okay, so, let's try this again. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, so we can't see all of these at the moment. So this is an example where even if we lift this up, we move this to re-register it. You see it can't see those little points by here. Okay, that's good. So, sorry, the reason I'm doing all of this is I just try and highlight, you know, earlier when we were placing these points. So let's get this back selected, sorry. And we were trying to do this vertical offset. Can you see that this is going to impact what points are visible based on the height as well? So that might be important to you to have it the same height as like the player's head. So that's just something to consider that I wanted to show. I've never played it once yet, so yeah, I'll post on the Discord when this month we're going to be playing Darkest Dungeon, but next month I'll be doing Banner Saga. I'll post on the Discord when I am if you wanted to join. Have you played like the second and third one as well, Flipper? Just trying to disprove your theory of with the this isn't internet issues, dude. The internet is fine. It's the same issue that I have. And I think I know what you're looking into. Part of me feels I don't think it is the case. I think that person's stream has had issues around that time of day before as well. But I wouldn't put it past them based on some of the behavior exhibited earlier. You went through the entire saga in a month. Oh, okay, nice. Nice. Okay, so we've done the trace. The trace seems fine. Now, the only things I don't really get about the trace maybe is if we did like different shapes. A box trace. Oh, so that's the extent, is it? Oh, so we might need to move this now then, is it? So if this is just a box extent, how can it see it there? Or maybe we shoot an entire box in that way. I'm not too sure how they work. Anything change between these? No. Yeah, not 100% on that. But either way, okay, that's cool. This ball match is a way you can invert it. So here we could say we want to only include ones where we can't see the player. So this is likely for... Let's go back to here. Let's take this up in the air. Sorry, I need to click on it first. Going to move these up because that's the kind of head level of our AI, we're going to say, right? Let's just put it as 140. And here we want to see, let's put our player character up here as well for now. So we want to know all the ones where, all the points where the player we can see the player. Actually, I'm trying to think what we're doing this. So this is find player. So I guess we would want to, yeah, these are the only ones where we can't. So we'd want to move to any one of these points where we can see the player. So we'd move to one of these and then we can see it. The only points you can't is where there's the taller objects in the way, right? Okay. Well, that's that query done. Is there this? All right, dot. Is this dot product? This is the dot product. Dot product is like a -1 to 1 value, isn't it? Based on the like normal angle between them, I think. Started learning Unreal today, by the way. Plan to learn a little bit. Oh, that sounds positive, Flippo. Feel free to share stuff that you do. It might inspire others in the Discord to get a bit more active in that, in Unreal, including me. Good job. And if you want any help, ask away as well. Well, Morton, it's more. There's in a mutual stream of mine and Nalaj earlier, there was a bit of weird behavior by someone who dropped a bunch of money, but then was like really, yeah, some weird behavior trying to get interactions with the streamer afterwards. And so they got banned, and then they've tried harassing since. So I think that's what Nalaj is talking about. As people have this weird expectation, right? Men and on women especially, where it's like, I pay you, so you now do what I want you to. I buy your services, even though there was no services for sale. You owe me. Such a weird attitude. Okay, so... 2 points. Okay, so... we can choose the querier and we can choose the pawn here. I don't know what the range is. -1 and 1, isn't that what you get with a dot product normally? But maybe we only want some which aren't. Hang on, let's go to just scoring only. Yeah, fair. That sounds good to me, Flip. Rotation is based on the way the query is facing, I guess, right? So which way is the... okay, they're facing away at the moment. But still, that shouldn't matter, even if we face them at the player. Oh, hang on. Okay, so this is like whether they're in... all of these points are based on this rotation and the relevance between... no, the item should be involved. So between the item and the... yeah, sorry, I think I've done this a little bit wrong. So let's... the item is going to be each one of these. These are items. So let's go based on the item. Okay, this is looking better now. And now if we rotate this around... okay. Yeah, so this is getting us a general... trying to think how it scores it here. So this is prioritizing those which are behind it. So I guess we could minus this. And that would prioritize things that are more directly in front of it. But why is this one scoring higher? This is like a... Oh, I know why. Sorry, hold on. Isn't it 1 on either side and then 0 in the middle? Oh, crikey. I'm really confused by this, actually. Maybe the rotation should be of the dance porn item here. Let's move this. Oh, the downside is as we move this, we're not going to see much of a difference. But okay, let's face this that direction. Facing that way. Let's click back on that. Oh, absolute value. So absolute is going to do... Instead of being -1 to 1, it's going to be 1, 0, or 1. Yeah. So that's why, yeah, these, you can see, these are directly to the left. So this is going to prioritize left or right. This makes more sense to me. And it's really going to nullify this straight direction here. Yeah, that is kind of what I was expecting. So if you want to invert that, this will now prioritize those which are directly in front of the player. So you might want to do a thing where, you know, players are more likely to move to a position left or right instead of running at the player. Therefore, you might want to go ahead and add some form of weighting here based on the left and right, and you'd add that to all of these different ones as well. So it gives a nicer... Hold on. Why is this not being able to trace anymore? Let's ignore that. So it just gives slightly... You can still choose one of these points, but it's really going to prioritize the ones. Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I expected there. Oh, C# is a lot nicer for sure. The main reason I want to learn Unreal is to do more with CPP. I had a program in CPP during my graduation. Oh, you had to, sorry. Good to keep it up. It is definitely a very flavored version of CPP, but yeah, it's still going to be worth or valuable for you, I'd say, in that way. Unigine, I've never heard of that in my life. Yeah, Java and C# are very similar. I found Java and C# very similar. CPP was different. A different beast. Okay, do we have any more tests we can do here? Project. Overlap. Interesting. So if we did an overlap one, let's get rid of these. So we say, right, we want to score. I don't know how the score would work really. It'd probably just be a filter, wouldn't it? We want to filter a box of a certain size around the context. Where's the context? Do we not get to give a context? Shape offset. How does it know where? Okay, let's make this larger. Let's do like 300. What? Why just those? So there's an overlap on these. Oh, I'm so confused. Wish we could see this shape. I don't. There should be quite a large overlap area. Is that because it's going over all of them? Maybe that's why they're all red. Let's just try it in one direction. Yeah, I'm really not too sure how this one is working, unfortunately. Maybe we don't really... Oh man, yeah, this is... I guess it'd really depend on this, wouldn't it? And what this is. And maybe it's doing this shape around every point. That would make sense, right? Maybe those points was happening because it was colliding with that box. Do you remember when I put in, didn't do like 300, 300 by here? And this was world static? No? This is where I did it. Box? Some of them had blue on them at one point. Blast. Okay, when I do... Z is the up and down here. Is it because it's... I have no idea why this being larger stops it from working. Yeah, I'm confused at the moment, unfortunately. I don't really know what this one is doing. Which you on about now, Flippo? About it is used mostly for benchmarks. You on about Java? Yeah, Java and Gamedev aren't too commonly kind of married things. Okay, well, we don't know what that one does, but we kind of got the idea with most of these, right? So let's do our trace. Uh-oh. Is it because this one is too high, maybe? Oh, no, yeah, it's a trace from here, right? I forgot that. So it's what can these points not see? So that is if we want to hide from a player, but otherwise all of these points are valid. So we want a point where we can see them. And then we want to score them by distance. We need to flip this one. So all of these, there's no trace on those. Then we want to do the distance to them. So these ones are higher priority. So a good way to showcase this would be to put this closer, but out of line of sight of one of these. I guess it does have line of sight of it. But at least you can kind of see these ones, right? That's probably a better view for us. And then we also want to prioritize those which are left and right of us. So you can see this one is now higher valued than this one because we don't want to move that. We want to prioritize to the left and right based on the dot product thingy that I used as an example. So this one is more directly left. So I think this is, oh no, it's closer and it's directly left. So that one's got the higher score for that reason. And we might not prioritize that too much. So we might want to go down and make this like minus 0.5. So it's only a mild preference, that one. That way it makes this one the same rating as that. That might be fair. Oh, yeah, maybe he's talking about Unigine. It's like the word engine, but the start of the word doesn't, you can't say is unengine. Unigine? I don't like the word. Okay, so now we've got these queries. It's about using those queries then, right? So that's the step that we need to do. And I think you can just run these queries to get a point. But there's some extra steps we take after it as well. So let me just have a little look up here. So we've made this query. And we've got a target actor. That's fine. Move to location. We're set board, blackboard value. Get actor location, get a random point. Yeah, we don't need to do that. I just want to see how you use what we've just made. Okay, here, move into position. So node can be used to execute EQS queries. So you do a run EQS in the task. Let's go ahead and do this. I remember one bit of advice they gave is you want to kind of give it a cooldown as well, because you don't want this query running every frame. So if we go into our behavior tree, so if we type in EQS, now you can add a decorator to this cooldown so that it only checks this. Let's get that on top of there now, sorry. So we want to run this like every 0.5 of a second, for example. And then we're going to run this location and it's going to store. Okay, sweet. So here, the template, we want to use the one that we made just a mo ago. So find player. Oh, crikey, we meant to pull that one in there, sorry, like that. And we're going to set it as target location. Is target location though? No, it's giving us an actor rather than location though, right? So we might just, for now, set it as insight target, I guess. I don't know whether you can do a location from it. Maybe you can do a location. But the trick with this then though is that these locations are not, they're not going to be on the nav mesh. That's what I'm concerned about. All right, never mind for now. It's either we do insight target or... Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong menu. I hate how you can't have these separate sometimes. Anyway, so you can choose a random one from the best 5%. That's quite cool. So does that give you an array back then? Or no, you just run a single, you choose a single random item from that. Okay, we can do that. Query config, what would go into here? I have no idea. Maybe they're params that you can use within the EQS in order to modify it. I'd imagine that probably is. Let's get rid of that then. So then, how would we perform the logic in here? The find player, run the query, move there, and then rotate. Move to location. Yeah, we've set up our controller. Don't need to do any of that. Okay, I think we get the general gist of it though. You can use it to get yourself a position like this. So if we try this for now, we'll have a look. So if we get rid of this, oh, we actually want to change our query quickly as well, because at the moment it's doing, oh no, we can do it with that. So it's moving towards the best position. It's going to do it every like 0.5 of a second, even if it's not there. If we press F8 quickly and go up above, we can put some debug information on. Oh, why is it not giving me the debug info? I'm pressing the right button. You press apostrophe. Why is it doing this? What is going on? Okay, just let me move it now. Still not letting me show the debug menu though. You see it's following the player though, right? Where it's not actually following the player, it's choosing a location that's near to the player out the top 5% of places. Now I want to show you the debug info because then we can actually see how it's choosing. This is cool though, this is cool. So it cheats, right? Because it's not using the vision of the player here. because it knows where the target is and then it gets points around it. But I am a bit bothered by why it's not letting me enter the debug menu. It's just using the way that it's something called an environmental query. The environmental query system, I think, is EQS, and you can set up a. I can't. It's hard to show you right now, but you basically change. This thing to generate a bunch of points, and then it'll score each of those points based on a bunch of tests you do it. So I said that it needs to be in a light. It needs to be choose a spot that's visible with the player. Ideally, choose the closest one to the player, and then I prefer ones which are slightly to the side of it as well. Hello there, Ezekiel. So yeah, it's not, like how it does its actual pathfinding then. I think it's just moving directly to that point. It's not. It does the built-in like Unreal Nav Mesh finding a path. I don't know what algorithm it uses for it. But we could change this, right? So we could say, well, we want to prioritize this with the distance, and we want to flip it. We prefer the ones which are further away instead. Like that. So if we save that and then press, I don't know if it does it live. I think we'd have to stop and press play again. So you can see it's getting a line of sight, but staying away from the character as well as it can. So if we go ahead and move this, it doesn't have line of sight, right? So it needs to find line of sight. Okay, I can see it now. So it's just kind of keeping an eye on us. It's got a line of sight. I'm quite a chunky boy, so it doesn't have line of sight on me here. So it's found a point. It is not looking for me. It literally can detect where it is. But it's really bothering me that I can't bring up the flipping debug editor. It's stupid. So I'm going to try and relaunch and see if it works after I relaunch. What was the error? Access none, target actor. Can you go to it? Target is get Blackboard. Am I even running this? Oh, hang on. Yeah, AI character simple. Isn't this this? I'm not 100%, but let's. I don't know if that's going to be. Get rid of that. Anyway, let's save. Let's try and close things down and reopen it. Because if I see that debug info, then we can look how it actually works, and that'll be useful for us. But yeah, Ezekiel, I've been a bit overwhelmed with work at the moment, so I found it hard to have the energy to stream. So it's a little less organized than usual, but I do I want to keep working on Unreal. I want to keep getting better at Unreal. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a little bit more regularly. We're starting a new month of the monthly game dev challenges tomorrow, where we'll be looking at UI. And this is our last one from last session from the last month's theme, which was looking at the AI behavior trees and the EQS, etc. Okay, default map. Yeah, well, October will be Ludum Game Jam, and so we want to get a nice UI going and learning about making things working properly. Okay, so let's give this a go. If I press play, can I press? Why? Oh, okay. Now it's worked. Can you not do it when you're F8'd? Oh, you can't. Maybe that's what the problem was. Well, I apologize. So here, you won't see anything, but what you will see is if we might need to change it to That's going to start moving if I possess it again. Yeah, we're not really getting to see the queries here because it's happened already. So we're going to have to quickly change our... I still doesn't like this. Yeah, I don't care what that is. It's just... Oh, I remember what this is actually doing. Okay, yeah, don't worry about it. We don't need it for this. Ludum Dare, yeah, there's one in October. The website is down, is it? Oh dear. Not good timing. But yeah, there's one. They do them twice a year now. So I think the next one is in October at some point. So what I wanted to do was to go into the query and we need to change the context for it. So find player, this. The context for each of these, we've used downform, but we're going to use the player instead. For each of these now. Let's just save that. And now what we should see, if we get rid of this pawn, it actually doesn't matter. We can just move it out the way. We start, now it's going to be doing it based on me. And if we press 4, sorry. Okay, so we should be seeing queries when it runs a query as well. But we're not actually, it says query 0. Is it going for that one or is it going for me? I don't know why it's not running queries. So the behavior right now should be get the furthest point away where you can still see me. I think this is throwing it off somehow. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of our test pawn as well. Oh. Why does the AI controller have a reference to the test pawn? It shouldn't. Okay, and then we press... which one do we want? Sorry, I always forget the EQS there. Okay, here we go. So we can see the queries is running now, right? And it tells you which one is the winner. It's moving. It needs to choose a new one each time, right? Because I told it to choose a random one. Let's stop it from doing that. Let's change our query to choose, our behavior tree. Let's make this choose just the actual single best one, because that means it shouldn't move about constantly. Okay, what's going on here? Why are they all 0? It may not see me now. Is it going to move? Okay, let's go for a higher bit of cover. Right, it definitely can't see me now. It doesn't seem to be moving. Okay, yeah, I'm a bit confused what's going on here. Is it because I'm not on the nav mesh? No, I am. Maybe I didn't change all of my settings properly. And maybe this error is upsetting me because I don't really get... Just save and recompile it. We don't get issues there, but we get issues here when it starts. Set value as vector, this. So this Blackboard value doesn't get it. Okay, so for now, let's just unplug it because it's doing my head in. Getting that error. Okay, let's go through and check our queries now then. So the distance to the player. Here we are doing a trace. Ah, there's two sides to the trace that maybe I didn't think about. Hang on, trace. Isn't there like a to and from with this? There was with the trace. I thought we set out like a to and a from. This is confusing. I mean, we can get our test pawn thing again, I guess. Drop this in here. But we don't see anything because it's relating to the player, right? I mean, do we see it at runtime? If we F8 out of this? And we click on to, I don't think we do. I think I tried this earlier. There's our test. This one. Yeah, it doesn't give you a query. I guess. This is annoying me now. I understood it all when we were doing it with that. With one of these. And this. Why is it clicking on the floor instead of the bloody test on that? Oh, we haven't given it a query template either, have we? Find player, that one. Just want to check that if I move over here and then I press F8 and we click on that test pawn, it still doesn't show it, does it? Oh yeah, oh, for flip's sake. I wonder why it can't locate it. Okay, let's try and change back this to look at the dance pawn instead each time. This is the... no, the rotation wouldn't have changed it. Oh, actually, yeah, it didn't exist, so I couldn't find it. That could have been one of the problems with it. Let's just double check this. Save that. Try and go back, see if it's working again now. No? Flipping no. Okay, yeah, it is working in relation to Hey, Wolfgang, long time, dude. Nice to see you.
Biceps.
Biceps to you too. Thank you very much for the donation. Good to see you here. Let's try and move this over here and see if that changes anything. Yeah. So these are all getting prioritized by the line of... They need to have a line of sight with this, and only these have a line of sight of this. And then it's prioritizing them based on how far away they are and whether it's to the left or right of it. That's what we've got at the moment, right? So that's working. How about the distance? We make sure that it can't be right next to it. Maybe that would be a nice way to do it. So it follows you, because then we don't have to do this distance and invert it like we did. Distance here. So if we make this -1, and then we give it... Oh, is there a distance? Oh. No, you can't. That should just flip it. This should. Yeah, the ones closer to it are now a greater priority. That's fine. Let's just go with that for now. I'm just trying to get it to work with the player. That's the last thing I want to be doing. So in order to change this round, we'd need to then change each one of these now to use the player instead. Okay, so that one is done. So we would use player as well. This one needs to use player here and player here as well. Save. Now it shouldn't find anything because we're not in the map at the moment. I don't mind that. We just press play. And we press apostrophe and 3 to see the EQS. It just runs to that corner. It did this last time. Why does it think the player is... Hang on, AI characters... Oh no, the controller and the character is there. Is it? Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know why it's not working with the player at the moment. It just goes to that corner every time, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. It seems to work fine. It's just, I guess, well, let's check our context for how it goes ahead and creates the... maybe it didn't save after it crashed or something. Let's go and have a quick look in here and have a look at our player. No, that looks fine to me. Do we? No, we don't need to use that even. Yeah, that's the only thing that I don't get. I feel like I understand how the query system works, and it works when we set it up the other way around. It's just I can't seem to get it working with the player controller, but that's the only bit that I'm stuck at the moment. We might need to call it there just because I'm running out of time. But let's try and get it back to a point where it worked with the particular pawn class instead. I mean, to be honest, that should work with when we're playing the game as well. Because we are of that class. I think it would anyway. So let's go ahead, click save again. We can look at this. This is now judging based on that. Okay, great. Let's get rid of that test pawn. Then here, let's just see if it works, I guess. Okay, it seems to be going for it. No, is it going for that corner again? No, okay, it's getting really close to that player. That's okay. That's kind of what we expected. Let's move this out of the way up here and let's move things around. So it'll choose a new position each time based on the closest point to it. On its grid that it's making anyway. Okay, yeah, I guess that's the only confusion I have is why it can't. Why I can't get it to work with the player. But I think the general premise we've looked at anyway, and it makes more sense, right? But I can't get it to register with the actual player itself, which is a bit frustrating, but... I think here we've put them in a place where the nav mesh isn't attained, like you can't quite get there. Okay, well, we've had a look. I think that's about as much as I can fit into this session. But I like the concept for sure. I think it's a great way to generate points. I like how you can set up these rules in here in order for you to score. I like how you can preview it with the EQS test pawn thing as well. The only thing I'd need to practice is trying to work out how it works, like detecting the player controller, because for me it didn't seem to work. I'm not too sure where I've messed up, but I've looked over it and I can't quite identify it. So I'll have a look with fresh eyes another time. But yeah, we're pretty much done with the AI, introduction to the AI and behavior trees and that then. In the whole sessions, we started looking at making a behavior tree, a basic one. We use the default tasks and we learn about the sequencer and the select nodes or constructs, I think they're called. We use decorators and services. We then made our own tasks using CPP, trying to make it bind to an event and wait for it to be fired before the task was complete, which was like a little custom task that we made. And then we made some slight kind of behaviors using a behavior tree. We looked at the sensing component so we could see how it could respond to both sight and sound, or through the hearing kind of sense. And you can process those different kind of senses that are picked up by that system. It's built in, it's a component already there for you. But you can tune it in terms of how far away can it hear things, what is the cone of vision and that. And then you can hook into events of every time its stimulus or stimuli information is updated, you can look at that data and decide to do something with it if you want. And then last, we looked at the EQS system, which is a way of generating a bunch of points and then giving them a score so that you can choose which of those points you want. And you can use that point in whichever system you want to do then, or whatever means you want to use it. You could use it as a place to hide. You could use it as a place to spawn something. You could use it as a place to spawn an item, a power up. You want to make sure that there's no player that can see it respawning to ruin the immersion or whatever it be. I'm sure there's multiple purposes for it. One thing is it's quite an expensive process. You don't want to be running it every frame. If I remember correctly from work, you might want to run it and then give it a few frames to complete. and then use that data when it finishes as well. I think something like that, because it can be quite an intensive thing, and you don't want to like create an expensive frame in a proper game. So yeah, but we are done.